You using a tablet?
Okay,
iPad.
Butch, we're live.
He always does.
Okay. Can Terry hear us?
I'm here.
You are here.
I
All right. All right, let's we'll go ahead and start our monthly budget meeting. So we'll have the one and only Michael come up and give us the good and bad and the ugly.
All right. We're going to talk about some numbers here. Hopefully answer all the questions. Okay, first package that we're going to look at, first page in your packet, is our sales and use tax distribution. This was collected by the merchants in March of 2023. It was remitted to the state in April, and we received it in May. Our total tax for the month was $324,592.04. Of that, $200,000 went into the general fund, $47,000 went into streets, $51,000 went into parks, and $25,000 was part of our bond payment. On the next page, you can see where we're at on our sales tax collection. Just a couple of things to point out here. For the month, we had the $273,340. That was up $16,000 over 2022, which was a 6.74% increase. As of the end of May, we're running at 2.65% above what we were in 2022. And just to kind of show you how close those numbers are, if you'll look at those two numbers right above the 2.65, you'll see that in 2023 we've collected 1.1 million, and in 2022 for the same period we had just a little under 1.1 million. So it's a difference of about $30,000. $29,114.50. So we projected flat, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Would you say that's just keeping up with inflation?
Yeah, it's continuing. Like I have our numbers for May and June. June and July. When we put those numbers in, we dropped to about 1% over where we were at last year. So it is coming down to even more of a level than what we thought.
Yeah.
But I did some analysis and I gave it to the mayor earlier, just kind of looking at the sales and use tax I looked at the corridor to see the cities in the corridor to kind of see how they were doing. I looked at Hot Springs, some of the other places around the state. And in June, we were up about 5% over where we were at in 2022. The corridor ran anywhere from 12 to 7%, with Bentonville being the highest. Hot Springs, I believe, Mayor, aren't we above Hot Springs on that?
2%.
Yeah. Huntsville.
Actually, Rogers had 5%.
Yeah, Rogers had 5. Berryville had 0. Theirs was almost completely level. Huntsville was up a little bit. So we are running consistent with other cities across the state of Arkansas. So. And then on page 3, that's just our graph to kind of show you the years over years to kind of see where we're at. Okay. Then page 4, we go into our revenues and expenditures. This is our revenue and expenditures through the end of May 31st, 2023. At that time, we're at 41.37% overall of our fiscal year completed. As you can see down through there, a lot of our accounts are running pretty close to their revenues covering their expenditures. Overall, we have a loss at this point of about $92,000 of where we had budgeted. And not to flip way ahead, but if you look on page 25 of 33, you'll see that it's the end of the revenue and expenditures. We are at a loss of $92,257.96. At the same time last year, we were at a loss of $306,000. Cool. So we are doing better than we were doing last year at this time. So
Michael, what do you attribute that to? Why are we doing better?
Posting part of it. We're getting things better aligned in our financial statements to have a more true reflective picture. One of the things that Lonnie didn't do was that we have what we call beginning fund balances, and they're funds that we had left over from the previous year that we used to pay for expenses that we're not using our revenue that's generated from this year to pay for it. So we use that now to kind of to show that, okay, if that department was $50,000 short that month, that we used existing funds to pay it that we already had. So we've kind of tightened up some of our accounting, the way we're reporting things, and that has a little bit to do with it. Our income, like I said, is a little bit above last year's. That accounts for a little bit of it. We're trying to control our expenses a little bit better, putting them throughout the year instead of so much up front. So there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Okay, thank you.
Also, if you look on page 5, a couple things to point out there. About almost 10 down, you'll see 4031, that's our sales tax operation. That's part of that sales tax that's coming in. We've collected $366,000 into this account, and if you look out to the end, last year, the same account, same time, we were at $357. So we're super close to where we are. If you go down about middle of the page, you'll see 4115. That's transfers in. That's the other piece of the sales tax. It was at 437 last year, or this year so far, and it was at 423 last year. So we're just barely hovering over that mark from last year. Y'all have any other questions about the detail? We will be looking this, probably on our next budget meeting, I'll be bringing our adjusted budget, mid-year budget adjustments. So we will talk about that on our next meeting.
Michael, has the increase in property tax, is that in effect now? I know they assessed us, I can't remember when.
I think we won't really realize that until next year is what I think, is because it's on the taxes that you're going to be paying for this year, you pay them like next year.
Okay.
So I think we're going to because the tax increase went in this year.
Okay.
And then we'll realize it next year.
Okay, good.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We have never covered this. I was just wondering, hey, it's just schooling. Do we give any money to our schools or our public schooling? None at all?
No.
We don't have anything to do with them, or?
No.
The bulk
What?
of
I don't
our
know.
taxes, when you pay your property tax, if you look on your tax receipt, I want to say 80% of the taxes go to the schools.
Okay,
10% is split between the counties and whatever part we get
okay.
on there.
I
But
believe
something
our
like
real-
1% go toward county roads.
I believe our school millage is one of the highest in the state. So
Okay.
the schools will finance.
So do we pay for the city? Does the city pay for the sidewalks and the pavement? Like, is it a city-owned building, or, forgive me, I don't have a clue.
I'm not sure what your question is.
Are we paying for repairs at all for the school?
Around the school? That's
No,
all schools.
just all school responsibility? Okay,
Right.
If it's a street or a sidewalk, that's part of the city.
okay, okay.
The school funding has to be separate from anything with city government because it all goes through the state. So even if you have say part of your city taxes go to the school, the city's never going to see that money. They direct it directly to the school, and the school board regulates those funds.
I
The
gotcha.
only
Okay.
business the
Thank
city
you.
has with the school is the resource officer,
Right. That's what I
which
was.
is a
Okay.
contract. That the school reimburses the city.
Yeah, we provide the officer for that, right, and then they reimburse us for that, for the school resource officer. They pay his salary, but they reimburse the city for that.
Okay.
That is line number 01004123, reimbursement resource officer.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
they do it a couple, like, I think we bill them every 6 months, I think, on that. So we'll probably see something in June on there. But yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
As
That wasn't too
always.
hard.
That was like a random question that popped into my head today.
Okay.
Thank you for obliging.
You're welcome. Okay. We don't have any more questions on that part. Then we'll move on to page 26. This is our monthly revenue versus expenses. So in May, you can see we had revenue that actually came in for the month of $1.1 million. We had expenses that went out of almost $1.1 million. So for the month, we had a profit of $21,000. And I say profit, but that's just in excess is what I mean. And then that puts us at our overall of $92,000 for the year. On page 27, this is our month-to-date revenue versus the prior year. So we had 1.120 for the year, or for May, and in May of 2022 we had 1,041,000. So that's, I know it's not on there, the formula didn't pull down, but that's $79,000. So. Okay. And then on page 28, okay. On this one, I just have a lot of updates. Okay, so we're going to start at the top. The ambulance refurb. We got the chassis for that, and it was delivered to the rehab place in Houston, and Gary went the end of last week and delivered the ambulance to Houston. So now they will switch the box over to the new chassis for the new ambulance. So that'll take a while. So that's in the process. In May, we had the fire did their upgrade, second half of their upgrade on their radios. He had already got his truck in April. Then on the police, they did their second half of their radio upgrade in June, so that'll show up in June's report. In streets, we got the new snowplow. We already had that. The street striping machine, we purchased that in June of 23, so that'll show up in June. And we also bought a truck in June, so that'll show up under the work trucks. We were able to buy one truck so far. And kind of explain that a little bit. We're having a really hard time finding trucks. We're actually having a hard time finding them. We're looking through dealers, we're looking through Auto Trader, we're looking through Facebook. And this one that we purchased, Simon and I happened to be going to a dealership in Springdale to look at another truck. We didn't like that truck. We saw this truck on the side of the road, stopped and talked to them and ended up buying it. So it was an F-250 Ford with the utility box on the back of it. So it belonged to a heating and air company. So they are extremely excited in Public Works because now they can put all their tools that they use on when they have leaks. They can put them in there, lock them up in the different compartments, and then they can take that truck. It's a four-wheel drive F-250, so it's got tons of power. And so the guys in the Public Works are really excited about that. We're going to continue to look for some more trucks. The flushing trailer, we ordered that last week. They said it'll take about 16 weeks for delivery. So I'm not sure when we're actually going to get that, but it is ordered. And then the other stuff was already on there. So that's kind of where we're at on our capital expenditures.
Are we going to start striping our own? Sorry.
Yes.
We are?
Yes. The gentleman who did it retired, and he kind of had his own machine, and we weren't sure how to operate it, and because he built it.
Yeah.
So
I know, I've seen it.
we went out and bought our own striping machine. So,
Awesome.
and they're getting the paint and all that kind of stuff now, because I talked to the paint guy just a couple days ago. So that's going to be something they're going to start doing.
So we won't have a dragon in the parade anymore.
Oh,
You can buy it, Harry.
I want to see that.
Hey, we might put this new one in there. I think the city departments need to get involved in the parades
Yeah.
and show off some of our new equipment and stuff that we
Yeah.
actually
The new
get.
trucks and
show
stuff?
the public some of the things where their money's going and getting some of these things. So maybe we'll put the new striper right in front of Harry and lay some paint as he comes through on his Segway.
I could do that.
Yeah.
You better get your Model T working before then. We
There
need to
you
see
go.
that too.
Yeah. Is there any other questions about the capital expenditures?
What about the Public Works building? We were doing remodel.
The building,
Public
the
Works
new,
building itself,
Yeah, I thought we were remodeling the,
it's complete and
yeah?
it's finished.
I haven't seen it.
We paid all the bills. It's 100%
Okay.
done. We've got our lift in there.
We got the lift now.
Got the lift
Cool.
finally. And as far as I know, we're doing good with it.
That's exciting. Good, good.
also a new addition up there too. This is something we have talked about a lot in the past. We have our fuel tank at the at the police station. Through there, we run premium fuel because that's what our police cars have to have. Our other cars don't need premium fuel. So we are putting another tank at Public Works, and it's going to have regular fuel in it. So we're hoping that that's going to, that will help with our fuel cost, is that through the normal city vehicles, we'll be able to run the normal gas and then only run the high-performance gas through the vehicles that have to have it.
It's
So-
almost a 15% difference.
It's quite a bit difference,
Yeah.
and it's not costing us a lot to put that in. The tank's only a couple $1,000s to actually do it.
Is it going to be buried?
Do I?
Is it going to be buried?
No. But we have built a containment, a concrete containment thing for it to go in. So we're waiting on some electrical right now. As soon as the electrical's done, then they'll be able to put the tank in. So hopefully that'll be a cost savers too for us and help us out there. The next page, 29, this is our comparative bank balances. Just kind of, you can see that at the end of April, we had $6.9 million. At the end of May, we have $6.8 million. So we, had a little bit of cash burn there, but not very significant. So,
Well, we had some capital expenditures. that,
yes,
That's pretty good for all those capital expenditures.
Yes.
I would think.
okay. And then we have the next on page 31 is just kind of showing you month over month what our balances have been, starting with December. Then the next page is a new chart. This is a bank balance comparison, and it's year over year as far as months go. So you can see back in May of 2022, you can see where our balance was compared to where it's at in May of 2023. So this is just kind of show you trends of how we spend our money throughout the year and how we're comparing to the previous year. Then the next page, 33 of 33, this is just our long-term liability update. Nothing's changed there. Our next payment will be on 10/1 of 2023, and we'll pay a principal and interest payment. So there's not any change on that chart or that account. Is there any questions on any of that? So one other thing I want to tell you all about, me and Miss Ida have been working really, really hard on the website. And so far it's going really good. We got a test page at the end of last week to kind of see what it's going to look like. And we were real excited about that. So we're going to, probably in the next month, We're probably going to start putting that as a regular item at least once a month on our agenda, so we can kind of give you guys an update on that, kind of where it's at and how that's going. But so far, we are very excited. It looks very good, looks very user-friendly, and we're still really excited about that. So we'll keep you posted on that. So, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody have
you.
any questions?
I'm so excited about it.
Great job.
Great job.
Thanks.
Good job.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right, if nothing else, concludes our budget meeting, Finance Committee, so we will adjourn and reconvene at 6 o'clock for our city council meeting.
That's the quietest Terry's been in